myself, like how can I sacrifice time to serve the Lord more fully in family history, gathering Israel. And then I thought, well, all of my time is spent, doing good things, right? I'm not out partying or there's a lot I could, social media was one. I thought, well, I could cut back on that. But then I thought of the good, better, best. Like, what are things that I might be able to give up to do a better thing? And I think it goes back to having that revelation or having the Spirit with you to know where you should be spending your time. But I wanted to focus a little bit on how to help our children do that, because I think, that was the prophet's cry, was he knew that the children would, if they could have their hearts turned to their fathers, he'd have this, it's an army of strong, talented, bright youth that have time to help. And so we were in Nauvoo when we watched the devotional with my kids, and my little Emma, she's struggled a lot to stay in this world because of her health, and she was really touched by this devotional, and we were staying at a home right by the women's garden, and I've been there, and after the devotional was over, she said, "Mom, can I walk over to the women's garden and just pray and write my journal?" Well, of course, please go do that. But I was just amazed at how touched she was by this invitation. And so I started thinking about it and thinking about how can we instill that in all of our children. And so I started talking to her and thinking about her and why that would be so important to her. And she's always had, I think the veil's always been a little thin for her. She's always felt really close. She likes to talk about grandparents. She likes to talk about stories of my husband's dad passed away. Like she knew him and he passed away, and she has dreams about him and how he comes and hugs her. And I realized that she has this connection with her ancestors. She loves her ancestors. So I thought if we can instill that in our youth, then they will have that desire. I think it's hard for kids especially to just want to give up their time to do something that's boring. They don't want to go to family history if they could be playing with their friends. But if they have that desire in their heart because they have that want, because they love them and they want to help and they want to serve, I think that can make a difference. So I just wanted to ask how do you think we can help them feel that connection and that desire to want to serve and give up that time? President Nelson said, anytime you do anything that helps anyone on either side of the veil takes a step towards making covenants with God and help them take a step towards making covenants with God and receiving their essential baptism and temple ordinances, you are helping to gather Israel. It's as simple as that. So that was when the youth asked, what do you mean? What do you want us to do? That's what he said. And then he said, what would you be willing to sacrifice so you could help gather Israel? One more thought I had before I open that question is just also along with helping them have that desire, I think one of Satan's biggest tools is just distractions. He's constantly pulling the youth to do other things. So how do you help them avoid that too? So what are your thoughts?
One thing that we did as I was growing up is that we just made sure that Sunday was dedicated to those things. So if nothing else, we had one day where we knew that we'd be focused on writing in our journals, writing to missionaries, indexing, family history, all of those things, because it was supposed to be a day that wasn't the rest of the days. So that didn't mean that we couldn't do it throughout the week, but I remember I would come home from church every Sunday and do indexing for an hour and a half, and it was nice because in a way I knew that I didn't really have any other options, because that was the day that we didn't hang out with friends. We spent time with family, and, we cooked as a family, and we did all those family-oriented Sabbath day activities. And, my mom would try to read us ancestor stories, and, some of the younger kids had a hard time with that, but it's nice to have one day dedicated to all of those gospel things that kids have a hard time doing otherwise, because you don't really have to sacrifice anything to do it. It just is something to do on the day that you're supposed to spend focusing on the Lord. So
So your parents created that environment.